Hello, my name's Howard Vale, and got a special guest who's going to talk about podcasting and how it can help your business. So I'll bring him on after this. Right, it should be there. So it's my great pleasure. He's very, very shy to introduce Kirk Pickstone from Duggystone Radio. Hi, Kirk.
I'm an introvert, Howard. Good afternoon, good evening, world, wherever you are. Yes.
Yes. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for inviting me on your live stream, going out on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. Yeah.
Pony, but mainly
whatever. Yeah.
All good stuff. I'm still learning how to use it, but it's all good because what I use on Whirly Gigs are videos, whereas you, Mr. Duggystone, use audio, in particular podcasts. So those are actually. Do you know what? What is a podcast? Is it just radio? Is it more than radio?
No, it's more than radio. I think people get confused. Do you want me to introduce myself first, or I'll tell you? Yeah, I'm Kirk Pickstone from Duggystone.
Introduce yourself, Kirk.
From Duggystone Radio. We're not just local people; we're freaking global. Well, basically, the radio, to give you a bit of background, the radio station started on the back of podcasting. And a lot of people roll their eyes and go, oh, podcasting, because they think it's some black art. And what is it? But basically, if you listen to any music, MP3s, then that's basically what a podcast is. So a podcast is an audio file, and the name comes from Eddie King saying hello Eddie King. The name comes from Apple because it started with Apple, so it's an Apple broadcast, and that's where the name came from. So it's a podcast on it because it was on the iPod, so it's a podcast. So that's where the name comes from our good friends at Apple Podcasts. But basically, it's if you listen to any audio books, you listen to things online, then generally they get grouped together as being podcasts. And then people confuse having the online radio station as being podcasts. And the online radio station is totally different. So what we do on the radio station is we beam out on the internet audio. So we either do live shows, recorded shows, or we take shows from other people. So we currently take a show from Milan, we take one from Kazakhstan, we take one from Canada, and we take one from Detroit, which is a hip-hop show. So we have a combination. We're sort of if you think of Netflix for radio, that's what Duggystone Radio is, and we promote emerging artists. That's one of the things that we really do. So we're not a genre station, but a podcast is basically a recording that someone's produced to inform, educate, or entertain.
Now that deserves a proper intro, Kirk. Do you know that? Like this. Just for you.
I'm back. Yeah, that's and this man over here, Howard, did that for me. I did my own jinglette on it, but Howard did the Whirly Gig. That's what they are, Whirly Gigs. Intros and from your video. So I put them onto my YouTube videos sometimes as an intro.
Yeah. Well, we discussed how you can repurpose audio and video together.
Mate, brilliant. Yeah, crack on.
Right. So the purpose is that you're a bit of an expert and you know how to use, because you think that people or business are missing a trick here regarding podcasts. So just go through some ideas how people can use well, first of all, how people can use podcasts, and then there's a technical side of how to broadcast, isn't it? Because it's all very well you know having ideas for a business, it's actually getting yourself online. So just give us some tips and guides how podcasting is up and coming and how it can be used for business.
Brilliant. Well, podcasting, if you look at the UK in the last 12 months in 2019, increased consumption of podcasting increased by 24%. There's some other stats out there. It's above 50 or 54% of all Americans listen to podcasts. And I think people are missing a trick, and that's what we teach some of that on our course, and we'll talk about later on. Missing a trick, because connecting with people on by audio is brilliant, because you can tell stories. People can listen while they're doing the gardening, they're doing their ironing, they can be in the car, they can be doing an activity where they can either read or look at a screen. So, podcast, normally if you do about a 30-minute podcast, is a brilliant sort of 30 minutes to an hour, but 30 minutes is ideal, because a lot of people, I'm coming back, I'm here. A lot of people commute is about 30 minutes to an hour, so they can listen to a podcast on while they're going to work. Now, where businesses are missing out at the minute, or why they should consider doing a podcast, is some of the statistics and other demographics of people that tune into podcasts. They tend to be more affluent. They tend to engage more with a person when they've listened to them on audio, and they tend to then be quite loyal, and that leads on to people purchasing from someone else. Because it's all well and good doing a video, it's all well and good doing a blog, but that connection with between someone's voice, well, it can work one or two ways. You'll either be very boring, people switch off, or if you're passionate about what you're doing, you're engaging, then you've got more chance of people listening and then coming back to what you're doing.
Yeah, because sorry, Kirk, I was interrupting. Go on.
I'm turning down, you're a bit loud coming through on my system here. But one tip for people: don't use it as a broadcasting tool, and it's a broadcasting tool, as in, oh, I do this and that are wonderful, and because no one gives a rat's bottom what you do, what your business does. All people are interested is them. They want to be entertained, educated. Yeah. So it's same as social media. If you do a couple of posts, try putting a post on today on social media, which is of a daft meme of a cat or something, you'll get loads of interaction. You put something about how marvelous you are about your business, you'll have zero interaction. Yeah. The only people that get that massive interaction are people that are already established celebrities, stars, producers, or whatever. Then they will get reaction. If they put a picture of the thumbnail on, they'll get 1,000 likes or something. Yeah. So when people are producing a podcast, what they need to think about is, what is it that's engaging and what people are going to listen to? So why are they going to tune into it? So don't make it about yourself. Yes, you can drop some stuff about yourself. It has to be almost subliminal selling, because consumers nowadays are very savvy about being sold to. No one likes to be sold to. No one likes clickbait. And they will switch off as soon as they think, oh, this is just a broadcast about how marvelous you are. They'll just turn off. People are searching for stuff for them.
Absolutely right, because people don't care about you. I could say I create videos and Whirler gigs, and I use HT and 30 frames per second. No one gives a damn, because you're there to solve a problem, and you're the solution. And it's it's that expression, with them, what's in it for me? That's what people need, and to give value, always give something away, because you do it every day, because you do a business show on Duggystone Radio, don't you?
Yeah, I was doing about 4 business shows a week, but I've cut them down now. I do 2, one on a Tuesday, one on a Thursday, 10 a.m. And then it's a mix. See, that is that show. When I say business show, people might go, oh, business, don't want to tune in. But it's more of a current affairs, what's going on in the world, what's going on in business. I might do things about team dynamics or whatever. It's a business related, and the short snippets of information for people to go and think, that's pricked me interest. I'll go and find some more out. We do talk a bit about what's going on in the world of business, excuse me. One of the things last week was obviously the big thing of the coronavirus, and how that's impacting not just companies in China, but around the world. People that are involved in, Google have shut down offices, and some of the airlines has been affected. So things that can happen on the other side of the planet can affect you. So that's the sort of stuff I bring into the business show. And all those shows, every show on the station goes out as a podcast, with music on, whatever the show is, so that people now consume on demand. People might not be watching this live. They might watch it later on when they get home. Not everybody The days of tuning into something at a particular time at a particular day is vastly gone. How many shows do you watch on TV when they're live? Not many, unless it's not unless it's a specific thing, like, I don't know, Super Bowl, or it's the FA Cup final, or whatever, or, you know, the Strictly final, whatever you're into. Then
Absolutely.
people don't tend to tune in; they tend to binge watch things, and that's the ethos of the station. That's why we've gone for the podcasting as well. So we have got the station. So if you're in your office during the day and you want to tune into the station, listen to something live, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you want to listen to a show when you're driving down to Plymouth on a Friday afternoon and you miss the business show on a Thursday, brilliant, because you can.
It's there. Brilliant, excellent. In case if you're watching us live, thank you very much for joining us. Or if you're watching on the replay, please comment below and share it, because it is social media. We need to be social. If you want to ask a question, drop me in the comments, whether it's live or in the replay. And as I said, if you're joining us live, I'm with Kurt Pigstone from Duggystone Radio, who's been telling people how the best way. Thank you. Best way to use podcasts to grow your business. Very briefly, just go through the key points in how you can use podcasts for your business.
Well, what you can do, and what I teach people when I do one-to-one or I do the courses, is you'll already have content out there. So as an example, Howard, you're beaming this out on various platforms as a video. We could take the audio off this and turn it into a podcast and reuse it. There's loads of people out there that have presentations and all sorts of things where you can repurpose that in your you repurpose it as a podcast. Well, then what you can do, you can take your podcast and you can post it, you put it on your website. So you can have it on your website as a place for people to go. And what I've a bit of a terminology that someone else might have done it, but hey, I've started calling them pod blogs.
Oh yeah.
And you can, what's a pod blog? Well, I'll tell you what a pod blog.
All right. Take two. Kirk Pigstone, what is a pod blog?
I'm glad you asked me that. A pod blog, which someone else might have as a terminology, but I thought, well, you can take a podcast. Everyone knows what a pod blog is. Yeah, blog's written information, and a podcast is audio information. So you could have the same information in two formats, written and in audio. So what we started doing on the station is we take the shows. So, as an example, Eddie King does a show on a Monday night and a Tuesday night, which is on New Music, Emerging Artists. Good afternoon, Brimo. Emerging Artists. So what I do with that then, instead of just people going and clicking onto his show, which is fine, we're trying to give them more value. So what we do is we take it off a platform that we host on, and this is another tip for you. Get your stuff on your site, because you don't know how long Facebook's going to be there, LinkedIn's going to be there. Get your content on your site, not on social media, because they can switch off at anytime. So what we do is we take the audio file, which goes onto a system called Mixcloud, where we can play music. Then I put that onto our website so it might be episode 3 of Emerging Artists. Now, what we do, the reason why I'm doing that and why I've turned it into more of a blog, a pod blog, is a lot of people might not want to listen to the show, but we think that show is brilliant to listen to. But you might want to refresh your playlist on Spotify or iTunes. So what we do with that, we drop the full show in, so you can listen to Eddie's show if you want. If you've listened to the show, you might think, I really like that track. I don't know who it was by. So what we also do is we put where we can, depending where we've got those, you played the music from, we will create a Spotify playlist for that particular show. We will put that on the blog as well, and then we might put a bit of information. So I don't know, it might be the road show, or there might be. So on the last one I did for Eddie last week, he played a track he'd just been released for Avicii, a tribute for Avicii. You know, the artist that unfortunately committed suicide, which is terrible, because what a loss to the planet that is. I actually put on there the video from the track that had been released as the tribute, and also they've done a tribute concert, which is something like an hour and a half on YouTube. So I've actually put that on, and I've also put some information from the website about Avicii and things like that. So what I've done is taken and our content of show that Eddie's done, Eddie King, yeah, and turned it into something more. So you can listen to the show, you can find out what's on there. There's a bit of more information about the show. So it's almost like, you know, a snippet for people to come and see. So that's how we particularly use it. And you can use that in your business. There's a lot of companies out there that actually use podcasts to train their staff. So they will have a podcast where they'll get a new employee start and they'll go, listen to all these. This will tell you about sales. This tells you about processes. This tells you about our marketing thing. All the things you need to know about our company. Use podcasts.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it's multifaceted. It is multifaceted.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can use it more than once as well. But I just love it because, you know, with the podcast, it's easy to listen to in the car, in the living room, in the bath, and also just to reverse it, because I could turn this into a podcast, but you could also video your podcast and put that on YouTube as well, so you get double the audience. So
you can, and on some platforms, on some hosts, which is I can't go into the detail now, but the host that I use for my main podcast, my Duggystone podcast, I can upload a video to my host, and that will actually go out on iTunes as a video.
What, live or pre-recorded?
Pre-recorded. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
So
well, you can just do just video yourself doing a podcast with a guest and then upload it to YouTube or something.
Yeah, you can put it on YouTube. What I'm saying is you can actually get it onto iTunes, which is if people tune into your podcast on iTunes, they can watch a video on iTunes as well,
right.
or wherever, or Spotify, or wherever it sends it to, it should send the video as well.
Yeah. Good. I say, if you're joining us live again, I'm joined by Kurt Pickstone from Duggystone Radio, talking all about podcasts and how to grow your business. So drop a comment, ask a question if you're on the replay. So what are you saying about iTunes? Now, it's great having all these ideas, growing your business, but how do you broadcast? I mean, where do you start?
Well, it depends how much you want to give away for free, doesn't it? But where do you start? You can start with a you can, right. Let's take it back, because also a lot of people see me in the studio. I've got microphones, I've got headphones, I've got a mixer, I've got all sorts of stuff. You can basically start with if you've got one of these, you can start podcasting, right? Start podcasting on them, dead easy. But one of the main things that people have issues with, or don't realize, is people can take poor video. What the people don't take is poor audio. So if this was all distorted now, the video, people sort of see through that and carry on. But if it was squeaking and peaking, and people will turn off because they just can't stand bad audio. So whatever you do, make sure that yes, you can use one of these, and you can use systems like Anchor. Oh, it's a band I went to see the weekend. Jason, check them out. You can use things like Anchor. I don't particularly like Anchor, but I teach people a different way of using Anchor. Anchor is great. It is great if you want to do a Facebook Live type post where you're not bothered about the sound. You just want to do sound bites, get it on Anchor, upload it, from your phone. Brilliant. People will take that because it's like Facebook Live. But if you're putting a proper podcast out, you want people to take serious, then edit it, record it, and edit it. You can start off, right? I'll give you a little. We actually do a microphone. So I'm not trying to sell anything here, but actually in the other room. But if you wanted something like that, which is a Blue Yeti, great microphone, about 130 quid. We do some microphones at 60, 70 quid, which are a bit smaller than this. The reason why we sell the ones we sell are because they plug into one of these as well as your thing, so you can take them round and use them on the go. So not sales pitch, but make sure if you're going to do anything, record it with a microphone as a bare minimum into your computer. Because what we do when I do my courses, we play an audio of just using the phone, like the earpieces you get, or the pods. Recorded with a microphone and recorded with a mixer, and you can tell the difference in sound. And if you want people to,
if that's too techy, is it okay to pre-record a blog, sorry, a podcast to upload to your website? Is that just as effective?
That's the best way. That is a podcast. You have to record it. You're not doing it live. You're not doing a live. You're not doing a live unless you're doing a radio show. That's totally different.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a podcast, it is recorded. So platforms like Anchor are great, but there's no you can't edit in there. So if you've done or done something, it's done. It's like a Facebook Live. It's not. You can't edit it.
No. There is a piece of software, again, we're not affiliates, so we can mention it, called Reaper, which is a pretty cool piece of software. Is that good?
Mate. Yeah. Well, there's loads of stuff out there. If you've got, you can use things like GarageBand on a Mac. You can use, what is it? You can use Audacity. They're free software, so go and use them. But it's about how to use them as well as the thing.
Yeah.
There's loads of different editing softwares you can use, but it's actually how to use them, which can be which will scare a few people how you actually do.
But if people wanted to come to you for help, how can you help them?
Well, they can come one or two ways. If anyone can drop me a line, Kirk, KIRK at Duggystone Radio. DUGGYSTONE radio.com, or go to the website, drop us a message on there. So there's a message show tab on the website, and if you just message on that, you can get hold of me, Kurt Pickstone.
Yeah.
So we do a couple of things. We do classroom courses with people. So we'll take about 5 to 10 people in a classroom. A lot of people want to do it remotely. We have an issue with that, not because we can't do it. That's the one. We have an issue with that because I train one-to-one, and what we like to do is when people come to do the training, we like them to bring the computer, the microphone, the headphones, if they've got them, but at least the computer, because we can lend them microphones and stuff on the day. Yeah. And we make sure their system is set up. So if it's done remotely, then you've got to try and link up with someone. So we don't just teach people, where a lot of people teach like marketing, and they go do X, Y, and Z, and this is the process. Brilliant. We actually make sure from a technical point of view, the computer setup configured for them, the software's working, it's recording it right. So that we could do it remotely. We'll find that we couldn't do that with 10 people remotely because you need to link to the computers. So that's why we prefer going forward. We'll produce stuff online where it'll be people know what they're doing, and we'll be doing things to help them market themselves. But we find that classroom or one-to-one is ideal. And the other thing that we also do is intercompany. So if a company wants a few of their employees training up, then we can get them in a room in their building. And then what we do with that, you see, same as when we do one-to-one, I can tailor the training. So the last guy that I trained, he sent me a brief of what he wanted. Or what, we had a telephone call. What does he do? What does he do with his business? And then he sent me, I'd like to get X, Y, and Z before he even came. And of course we can do all that. So when he came for the session one-to-one, yes, we went through the general, what you need to do, where you need to host it, but specifically tailored what he's doing to him. So he wanted to learn X, Y, and Z, wanted to repurpose some stuff, what his Facebook Lives being done into podcasts, etc. So that's what we did on the one-to-one, and that's what we can do. That's what we do in the classroom as well.
Excellent. Well, on the screen is some helpful information.
Yeah. And we're brittle on the, I mean, by the time people see this, we might have done it, but that's the first one we're doing in Bristol. We've done some last year in the Midlands, and we decided to go down to Bristol because we've got studios all around the country, and Mark Brimson's down in Bristol. We're going to do one there in a shared working space, one up networking, business networking. Yeah. So where one of these buildings where they share the space. Shared workplace. So we're going in there. It's going to be good. So that's our first one. We'll do more of them in Bristol, and we'll do some in the Midlands.
Yeah, for transparency, me and a mutual friend of ours, John Daly, went on one of your trial runs. Was it last year? Yeah. And as a good case study, because John couldn't even turn on the radio.
No, I always say you can't even use a mobile phone, and surprisingly or surprisingly not, I've got him now doing 3 magnificent shows a week.
Well, Yeah.
And I'm still blown away that he can produce them. I am. I'm blown away. And I trained him. And so I always use him as a barometer. If I can train John Daly to produce podcasts and do 3 radio shows a week, I can train anybody.
Yeah.
And it's a joy for me when I get someone who's a bit more technically minded, because what it allows me to do then, and it's what I've done with the last 2 people I've trained in the last few weeks, is I've been able to give them more detail. I've been able to go further in with them because I've not got to. Does that make sense? I've been able to take it a step further with them because they're technically minded. But that doesn't matter. If you're not technically minded, the aim of the course is, and what we do is to teach you, if you can't do anything from, by the time you leave, you will be able to record, know where to host, know how to edit, know how to do everything. And I genuinely guarantee that if you can't, then there's something wrong with me. Because
we're running out of time.
Are we running out of time?
We are 26 minutes. It's like, whoa.
How long have we been for? It's only half an hour. Could talk all.
I know. What
did you say to me before? It needs to be at least 15 minutes.
I know. We've got 12 people live on LinkedIn, which is amazing. So thank you so much.
Keep them on. What do they want to know? Is there any questions? Can you see questions there?
I don't know. No, there's no questions.
Do me a favor. Can you just pull up the website so people can see it?
Well, I was going to ask you a question before we go to the website. It's so difficult trying to get Duggystone Radio. Can you just tell us how difficult it is to get it on Alexa?
It's dead easy. Honestly, if you've got one of these, and loads of people would have got these for Christmas, right? Won't they? They've got the Amazon Echo Dot, or bigger one, or the googly one. And I think, in fact,
what do you have to do?
If you bear with me a second.
No, don't do a live demo, Kurt, because it's going to end in tears.
It won't end in tears. It probably will, actually, because I won't be able to get it now. But the thing is, I've got something here, which is, because we're pretty good in what we do. We could produce all sorts of stuff. What was you asking me? How do we tune in? Yeah, it is. You're right. I shouldn't have done it live, should I? You talk for a second while I just find something. I've got it on easy. I've got it for my show tonight. I've got a show tonight. Live.
Well, without spoiler. Well, hang on. Spoiler alert! You just say, Alexa, play internet radio. So. Is it the same with? Hang on, let's get you back, Kirk. Is that the same with Google Assist? Oh, Kirk's gone. Kirk, can you come back? Kirk, come back, Kirk. He's gone. Did I upset him? Please come back, Kirk. Wonder where he's gone. Hang on, I'll message him. Before that technical difficulty, I never let someone walk out on me like that. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Is he back?
And then I was clicking on something, and it took the stream off. Anyway, to answer your question, dead easy, because we've got a jingle for it. You just say, Alexa, open internet radio, and it will play the station. If someone's playing this now near an Alexa, it'll be already working. Yeah. Or if you've got a googly one, you just say a googly one, Google. You just say, okay, Google, play Duggystone Radio, and it plays. So it's internet radio. It's internet radio on Alexa, and it's Duggystone Radio on Google.
Yeah, and also, I'll manage that. Just go on to the. I'm going to share the screen, and I can show the people how difficult it is to click on Duggystone Radio.
People still struggle with it. I don't know what we have to do, but they do. They still struggle with it, really do, and I don't know why. So that basically is our landing page. That's our landing page. Kept it dead crisp and clear, and in just in where that big logo is, if people click in that little arrow which says play, it's a play arrow, isn't it? Like you having a thing there, that will play the station. If you scroll down as well, Howard, or scroll up to the top, I should say, back to the top, back to the header of the page, You can't see it because your logo's there. On the right hand side, it also says listen. But that's the easiest way is to click on that logo on the page. And if people are interested in other shows, we have got a link on the top right, which is podcast, so you can check the podcasted shows from there. And if you scroll to the bottom, it randomly puts some podcasts at the bottom of the page for people.
Like this.
Further down. So them ones there, right, further up a little bit. So you've got 3 shows, basically just was random. And funnily enough, there's one there, the third one along, is the Howard and Johnny 21st Century show with
yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I know. Marvelous show. Marvelous
show. It is. Yeah. So that's what we do on the station. So we keep the player right at the top, make it dead easy for people. You land on there. In fact, on a lot of browsers, it should auto play. So as soon as you hit the landing page, it'll start playing the station, which could be good, could be bad, but at least it means if anyone lands on it, it should play. It doesn't do it on a mobile because Apple don't like that sort of automation. So yeah, that's what we do anyway. But podcasting, just to recap on it, is a great way to promote you and your business because you connect with someone on a one-to-one audio type basis. Sell them, don't try and sell them stuff, trying to educate them, trying to help people. And that's what my duggystone podcast is. It's about dyslexia, adversity, and business. So it's not me trying to sell them a thing, not trying to sell them a thing on it. Never do, never have done.
No. Kirk, it's been a pleasure. Going to say goodbye. Hang around. I'll talk to you afterwards. One more time with this. And I'll see you later.
See you later, my friend. And don't forget, Duggystone Radio, we're freaking global. Tune in, people. Tune in. I'm on at 6 p.m. on a Monday night, the new country show.
Yes, country. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
So that was Kurt Pigstone. Sorry it wasn't a bit chatty, but there's loads of information there, loads of good stuff to help you podcasting. Kurt can help you with some, some training. That's it. Thank you for joining me. Catch the replay. Please comment below and share it. And hopefully I will see you next time. So it's for me. All the best. Speak to you later. Bye.